And actually, Abby, you were wrong. They're not from the Northeast, they're from Connecticut, which is, as far as I know from my English geography, I think it's in the Midwest.
And you're officially cut from the team.
I'm definitely not a geography major.
And the trivia team, most importantly.
Unfortunate there. Again, just a bit of a loose pass. Try and get two hands up to catch it. Bit of a loose attempt there by Shane Baff on the edge for Fairfield. And so now we have a scrum down, and once again we have possession with Loyola. So we're almost halfway through this first half. 7-0, everything to play for.
Loyola Maryland making a substitution. Looks like Brendan Myers coming in. And remember, we have the winger here for Loyola Maryland, Cedric Tyson. We saw his defensive efforts early this morning. I'd love to see him get ball in hand, see if they can shift it to the edge, let him test his speed against his opposition.
Absolutely. He's definitely showing the defensive capabilities. But like you said, no opportunity to move the ball to the edge teams. Let's see if they do it this time. Looks like they have some good intent. And having said that, then they decide to go to the blind side. My prognostication was wrong. Again.
Just this once.
Just this once.
Loyola just sort of going backwards, not much happening, and then the forced offload.
Yeah, Ames was really trying to create something there, but I don't think he knew what he was trying to create, and his teammates weren't on the same page. So results in the spilled pill, and now we have a line out to Fairfield, Connecticut from the Northeast.
You see that flag that AR has up in her hand, whipping in the wind. So a challenging lineup, but well done to Fairfield as they maintain possession, shifting the ball through the hands.
Yeah, absolutely. And some good movement out to the edge here. Let's see, now we've got the ball in Henry Novicki's hands. He's out of Walpole, Massachusetts, and he's gone in almost untouched. Nice score. Again, simple movement. Nothing fancy. Just get the ball to the edge and use your speed.
I like that set piece move from Fairfield. The cuts coming from the edge, and then it's actually a double cut coming back after they pulled in the Loyola Maryland defender. They exploit that edge space in Novicki. He has the speed, he has the wheels to get in the corner.
Yeah, so now the conversion goes wide. Again, difficult kick in this weather. Difficult one for, I think that's Christopher Giunta, who's out of Ocean City, New Jersey. So we still have a very tight game. It's 7-5, Loyola's advantage, with about 1:20 left in this first half. So still some rugby to be played before the whistle. It's knocked on there by Fairfield, so Loyola will retain possession and get the scrum from the knock-on. See if they have some sort of training pitch play here. As they make a substitution, we've got Deacon is coming on for them up front. So obviously they want to get a bit of oomph in the scrum here, so they brought Deacon on to be that finisher.
Two sizable forward packs there in front of you. But again, Loyola Maryland, they have the ball. They have this opportunity to showcase something that they've ran a few times where they know where their teammates will be, but just have to break through this Fairfield D.
Yeah. Clearly, they need to get the ball to Ames in space and give him an opportunity. And having said that, now we get a turnover in contact, and so we have the opportunity to Fairfield to go the other way. I think the referee's just chastising one of the Fairfield players for maybe a little unsportsmanlike tap of the head. You'll know all about that, Abby. I certainly don't.
A little cheeky interplay.
Absolutely. So again, attacking opportunity here for Fairfield. Some good coverage. Nice tackle again by Ames. He's really showing well. As they start to build the tournament and look for sort of all tournament players in the different divisions, so far he's definitely putting his hand up. And having said that, Abby, don't say anything. Hold on. Guys, if we could mute Abby's mic for a second. I just talked about his defensive work, and then he gave up a soft tackle for them to score in the corner. And look again. Abby, you talk us through this one.
I got to give props there to the 10 from Fairfield. Christopher Giunta, he's got the ball in two hands. He uses his feet. He hesitates the defense, and then he dishes the ball out to Patrick Burke. He doesn't have much work to do, but he uses his size and his physicality to put Ames down and then get into the corner and extend into the front as we enter halftime.
The beaming smile on Abby's face right now after I had to eat my words again. Leaves us nicely poised though, 10-7. Fairfield slightly in the lead, but I will say they'll be going up against a very strong wind. And so hopefully Loyola has a strategy for playing, with the wind and using it to their best effect. I do feel watching some of these, I need to speak to the producers. I often feel like I'm tape delayed. Or you're tape delayed, so about 10 seconds you know more than I do, and so I think we need to address that, because it seems like I'm wrong every time and you're right. And so whether that's a skill set or something that TVX Video is doing, we'll have to figure that one out.
Yeah, I'm not going to say it's certainly anything to do with the production or the delay, but potentially just an innate ability.
Absolutely. Absolutely, that you will get no argument from me. But it is fun, Abby. It really is fun watching these athletes, and we have to respect the fact these are all student athletes. These aren't athletes or student athletes that are going into a transfer protocol and moving school to school just because it suits them or they can get some NIL money. They're in school to get the best degree they can and play the highest level of rugby they can, and I love that about this competition.
It is great to see. And it's right around finals time for many schools, so they're putting their studies on deck, holding them to come out here and perform at the Collegiate Rugby Championship. A lot of these teams traveling far and wide, whether that's on a bus or like you on a plane. I assume you didn't drive across the country?
We're on a tight budget. I actually used Greyhound, but I made it here. So again, great half set up here, and all of a sudden we have a wide ball, very loose pass, putting the winger under pressure here. I think that's looked like number 6, Shane Baffa from Fairfield, was under pressure, and now Loyola really have a strike opportunity.
Unlucky for Baffa. His teammates certainly didn't set him up for success, and now Loyola, what an attacking opportunity just on the 5-meter line.
Yeah, so you probably know what's going to happen over the next 10 seconds. You're probably going to be calling a score in a second, but I'm going to let this play develop and see what happens. But Loyola definitely needs to punch one in here. They've really done well in this game, but they just need a score. Looks like they're trying for the weak side. A little bit of a patient build-up here. Probably looking for Ames again on the edge. Is the try given? What have we got called here, Abby? Can you see?
Looks like an offsides penalty from the referee, so ball still with Loyola.
Oh, and Ames dishes it out. They're still about a meter out, so still some work to do. Oh, that's a really good clean out of the ruck there. We're going to have a penalty here for coming offside against Fairfield, and we've got a second whistle. So the AR has put their flag up. There's been some sort of an infraction. I don't know if you saw what it was, Abby, but the referees are going to be consulting here, and we might be seeing a card.
Especially given where we are on the field, Loyola in prime scoring opportunity. So if it is an infringement against Fairfield, referee may very well go to pocket.
He's talking to Ames here, so maybe it's something against them, maybe something on the clean out. We'll have to take a look. Some stern words. And the penalty's turned over. It's actually gone Fairfield's way, so not releasing in the tackle, it looks like.
Big turnover and changing of momentum for Fairfield. Loyola need to apply a lot of pressure, force them to make an error deep in their own half.
Absolutely. Have a bit of a breakout here, but Ames is in to take him. Goes into touch.
I thought he was going to barrel into you here. I wasn't sure if you were ready to make the tackle from the booth.
I was nimble. I was on the edge of my seat, ready to move. But, not a great contact, but he did enough to get him into touch, and that's all you can ask for. Now he can take a breather for a second and set up the next play.
Nathaniel Ryan there was the ball carrier for Fairfield. Looks to take the edge. Again, we've seen that a lot today from these teams. They're just not quite getting around their opposition and then bundled into touch, which is a turnover every time.
Oh, there we have a not 5 call. So the line-out throw has to go 5 meters, and it didn't. So that means it becomes a free kick to Fairfield as they try and move into the Loyola half. Strong carry there by Gavin O'Hara, a little bit sideways, but he got the ball to the edge. I do have to say, Fairfield's looking a little bit frantic right now. They're up near midfield, but they don't look very cohesive.
Frantic and just forcing things instead of letting it develop and having that patience. That's what I really liked about Loyola when they were just 5 meters out. They weren't getting white line fever. They weren't one-off carrying. Unfortunately, that penalty pulled them back, but I enjoyed that attacking set from them.
Well, I'm glad that brought you joy, and now we're looking forward to some joy over the next 2:45 or so. Again, really, really tight contest. Aside from the game I missed, as we said earlier, 10-7, our first tight game, and we can't prognosticate on this one, can we yet, Abby?
No, I'm not confident in who's going to take the W with this, but I love this move from Fairfield.
That's a great move there. Putting it out. Oh, then the loose pass again. Wasn't a good pass to Baffa, and now we have a breakout opportunity. We have now Colin Murn from chasing it down, and now we go in the other way. What is going on, Abby?
This is rugby sevens.
It is, and now we've got through. We've got a clean pair of heels there. We definitely have some tired bodies on the Loyola side. It showed there.
And that's Nathaniel Ryan righting his wrong from earlier. He was the one who got bundled into touch on this near side, but he gets the job done on the far touchline.
Always great in rugby when you have the opportunity to make up for a mistake. Like you said, righting the wrong, beautiful carry, strong carry, and then put it in the middle for, fairly straightforward conversion.
He barely breaks his stride as he coasts down the pitch here.
The conversion is actually up and good. So now we have at least a 2-score game, but we still have 80 seconds, which is plenty of time. I think you've scored 3 tries yourself, Abby, in 80 seconds. So I'm not giving up on this one.
We still won't call this one over yet, but the task is ahead for Loyola. Fairfield, nice game management here, just ticking away at the clock. We're already under a minute left.
Oh, and we have a knock on there. Another mistake. They'll be ruining that tonight when they're in their ice baths.
And that very well may do it. Fairfield probably walking to this scrum, have a reset down to just 30 seconds. They need to keep close quarters here, have their support really strong, and as soon as that hooter goes, bundle it in.
I think we can call this one now. I think with possession and time ending up. And then, of course, we have a turnover and we have one more opportunity. Although we are down to 15 seconds and we still have to set the scrum. And I'm sure Fairfield have a bit of a delay scrum tactic here. So we probably will be at the last play of the game once this ball's in the scrum.
Maybe a consolation try for Loyola, barring any mistakes.
Well, I wasn't going to call that. I'm glad you did, because you having called it means we will have a consolation try for Loyola. If I'd have said it, they'd have fumbled it and it would be going the other way. So let's see what happens. And then we have a free kick here. Oh my goodness, that's got to be heartbreaking for Loyola. A free kick for an early engage at the scrum. We're just going to have a tap and put the ball into touch for a Fairfield victory.
Fairfield got the job done. It wasn't the cleanest of wins. Errors on both sides, but Loyola just ran out of time for the comeback. And
time at halftime, just, you know, for even 15 seconds, because Abby wants to lecture me on a couple of things and we don't want to do it on air. Is that fair enough?
Oh, dude. I'm going to lecture you for stepping on my shoes.
We're having a disaster here. Okay. You can bring us back in if you'd like, guys.
Well, hold on. We don't even know who's playing. Oh, here we go.
Absolutely. Well, welcome back. We have another exciting matchup. We have Drury, who are playing right to left in the red, against the Michigan Wolverines in their usual blue and gold, playing left to right. So Michigan will be playing against the wind in the first half. Again, these two teams dropped down to the consolation bracket from their earlier matches, and so they'll be looking to make up for it and try and get a W in the column. Looks like we still have some communication issues with this referee, so we might take another second. Okay. Okay, so we looks like we have some comms issues with the referee again in this match, so we've got a slight delay. Give Abby and I an opportunity to breathe, and we will be talking about Drury against Michigan in a second. I think the center referee is about ready to come in now. She's got the notepad, she's got the whistle, and she's ready to referee what should be a tremendous match. Shake of the hand with the Drury captain, Charlie Williamson. And here we go. Oh, a deep kick. Using the wind to best effect, I would assume. Oh, there's a nice delayed pass to Michigan 15. Oh, my goodness. Sam Plockmeyer, beautiful break, high tackle, and it looks like he's going to go in just totally untouched.
End-to-end action. Michigan scoring within the first minute. Not the quickest of tries we've seen today, but Plockmeyer getting it done. It's a high tackle from Drury, Isaiah Little, I believe, going above the shoulders there. So long arm penalty, and then Luke Zana just in the right place with the quick tap, has the awareness to dive over that try line.
He misses the conversion, so we've got 5-0. But yeah, it was all set up by Plockmeyer. And to be honest with you, Abby, I was a bit surprised that the referee didn't give a penalty try there, because he was going to score if it wasn't a high tackle, and it was a fairly egregious. But anyway, they got the 5 points. They probably would have liked the 7 from the penalty try. Great take by Michigan on the kickoff there, retained possession.
Plockmeyer again.
A little bit of a delayed carry there, but they're still retaining possession. Now we're going down to the blind side. Oh, looks like we might have an opportunity here out wide to Michigan's number 10, and we do. Jack Regan.
A little interplay there between Zana and Regan. Zana eyed up the post from Drury and just backed himself physically. He steps inside, uses the right hand fend, gets the ball back in two hands, dishes it out to Jack Regan on the wing, who goes in under the sticks for Michigan's second.
And this time the conversion is good. They changed kickers. First one, wasn't very effective, but this one right in the middle went through cleanly. And so we have a 12-0 score to Michigan right now. So Drury's got some work to do, but still plenty of time. It is sevens. Drury takes that kick really nicely, and then they knock it on right on the edge of their 22.
Just an error there from Drury. We saw that this morning in their opening match. It was a tight contest between them and Belmont Abbey, but their error rate really kept them out of that match as well.
Yeah, these schoolboy errors are killing these teams. You do a couple of good things and then you just hurt yourself with a fundamental mistake and you get punished for it. Michigan retaining possession. They got a little pushed in the scrum, but they managed to retain possession. Now they're going backwards a little bit. Missed tackle won't help. Oh, and now we have another clean breakaway. This is Thomas Olafson. Gets the ball on the edge. He's out of Virginia Beach, Virginia, and puts another one down for Michigan. So your indications that Michigan were probably the better side, Abby, I think are coming true.
Michigan doing really well supporting one another. You can tell that they add these wraps or these loops into their scheme. They pass the ball, they follow. That's giving the ball carrier another option. And they're so physical in the collisions that they're able to maintain their go forward and really be at the forefront and get those offloads off to their teammates.
Absolutely. I mean, we have 2:30 left, and have Drury had the ball in Michigan's half? I don't know that they have. And when they've had possession, they've given it up a couple of times. So they got to figure some things out. Nice high contestable kick right there, just beyond the 10, and Michigan once again retained possession. They have the opportunity to move the ball to the left side here. Some nice strong carrying. Oh, there's a big unit going through there. Maximo Nelson. And then we have a loose contact there, and now turnover to the benefit of Drury.
Drury deep in their own half. Looks like they're not quite moving forward, so referee will come back. And it's going to be a penalty, it looks like.
Yeah, he said he was crawling with the ball, so they gave him an opportunity. So I think this is the first opportunity for Drury to break out, and it looks like he's got some good wheels. Oh, 14 is not going to be stopped. Nick Sanders out of Cassville, Missouri. What a breakout that was. Making a bit of a game of it now. It should be 7 points, don't you think?
The kick should go over. Nick Sanders goes the distance. I think that tap came just outside the 5 meter of their own try zone. Get the ball to the edge, breakthrough, offload to the speedster, and Drury climbing their way back in.
Yeah, the kick is good, and now all of a sudden it's a 2-score game and momentum has switched.
The restarts have really been the difference here. Michigan have been able to hold on to all of their own kicks as well as Drury's. So I think if they can hold out here until the half, they'll still go in with that 2-score difference.
Oh, that looks like a mistake there, but they managed to recover it. It looked as though Michigan was going to knock it into touch, but they didn't. They managed to recover the ball and still retain it just outside the 22. So opportunity for them to escape a little bit here. Now we have another breakout. Opportunity for an offload wide here. Goes out comfortably to Plank on the edge. We're going to have obstruction there. Yes, we do. You can't cross in front of your teammate. You can't be blocking like in American football, and that got penalized. Now we have a ball game. 22, Elijah Roberts.
Roberts, so intentional with his carry. He backed himself 100%, but the ball was in two hands, so it made the Michigan defense have a second glance at his outside, but he doesn't even break his stride, and that was a beauty of a try for me.
Absolutely. Here's the replay. Talk us through this one.
Right, it's a simple switch. He uses the right-hand fend, but then he has Saunders outside, which pulls the Michigan defense out, yet he keeps going. He's always a threat with ball in hand, and that's how that line.
Yeah, Williamson not able to convert that one, but all of a sudden from 17-0 to 17-12, and we're at the half. Really nice half of rugby.
Babson is over.
Open your fucking ears, too. Open your ears.
Okay, Abby, we are getting ready for the second half here of a very tight and intense match. We have a 17-12 Michigan lead right now, but all the momentum has definitely gone Drury's way.
Drury with that late try just before the half. But Michigan kicking off. They've looked really threatening. They've had a lot of possession the first 7 minutes.
Yeah, having said that, just a terrible start for Michigan. The kick went about 4 yards directly to the right. It was like my golf game. And now Drury once again with possession. Nice over-the-top pass is going to open some opportunity out here. We've got the try score with ball in hand, but once again we've got a mistake and the ball goes into touch.
Another error here, gifting the ball back to the blue and yellow Michigan, just inside their own 10-meter.
Nice clean line out. Opportunity to get some territory, take a bit of pressure off, which looks like doing pretty effectively. And once again, we're doing a really nice job on the outside there. Oh, and some great support. Oh, but knocked on. Plank made an amazing break, and then just a loose offload. And now, once again, we have Drury with possession, an opportunity to take the lead. Little static in midfield, so they'll have to try and build some momentum here. Oh, we do the clearance kick. Now it's going to be a speed test. Drury closing in very nicely. Oh, that's going to be a penalty. That should be a penalty for diving straight on the player, but the referee did not call it. So Michigan, though, retained possession. I believe they should have had a penalty there. Anyway, that's why I'm not a referee, Abby.
The breakdowns are a little messy, but Michigan able to retain ball.
Looks like they might have some numbers here on the left side. One more, draw the man, and then go. 14 running hard, bit loose with the pass, and Drury once again are able to retain possession. That should not be a penalty there. I'm sorry, that should not be a penalty. We had a clear release of the ball.
Referee saying the ruck was formed and you're preventing the Michigan player from getting to the ball. A tough call. He seemed isolated for me.
Yeah, really tough call. I thought he did a nice job of releasing possession. But again, there's a reason why you and I are sitting here and we're not flowing in midfield.
And I'm certain is because they couldn't find anyone else to commentate this weekend.
Absolutely. We heard there was high demand. So actually everyone else said no, they had to fly me in from California. So that's why you stuck with me, Abby. Anyway, once more, nice scrum. He's actually held up. They've got an opportunity here to hold him up in the air, and they've actually called it here. So we've got a scrum for held up. So if the player doesn't go to ground, he's held up in the air, he doesn't get his knees to the floor, then possession goes the other way, and Drury did a nice job of holding him up, and so now they have the scrum, an opportunity to build some momentum almost halfway through this second half.
Drury with ball in hand. They have the entire width of the pitch to work with, but there are some tired bodies out there.
Yeah, there are. Nice solid scrum. Looking to go blind, but there was no room there. Now they open it back up to the open side. Now they come blind again. Now they're going back open. They're still trying to find out strategy of which way to go, and unfortunately they've got stopped in midfield. So see if they can build a little bit of incisiveness. Once again, carried by the halfback from the breakdown, trying to set up the next possession. See if they can do some crisp passing, move the ball. Again, they're clogging up the middle a little bit, not really getting to the edge, and they need some edge play here. They're not going to run through Michigan in the middle. And having said that, I'm sure they'll now run through Michigan in the middle. But now we tried a little cheeky kick pass, which is, I like the creativity. I don't really like the execution.
Execution was off, and the conditions are off for that tactic.
Yeah, wrong thing, wrong time for sure. And again, especially when you're down by a score, don't give it away.
Right.
Keep the pill. Nice offload there out of the tackle. Oh, we got the big man carrying again. He's a load to stop. He's going to be about half a meter short, but Michigan should have an opportunity here to dive over. The referee, what's she called? Oh, she's called it held up. That's very impressive scrambled defense by the men of Drury.
Huge moment, but the ball will stay with Michigan. It looks like time is off now just to check in on an injury. And I don't quite see the held up from here. But again, referee looked like she was in a great position. So it should be a 5-meter scrum to Michigan.
Yeah, so now we've got a finisher galloping onto the field for Drury. Try and bring some pace, I'm assuming, for the last 140 of the match. Nove needing a score. I mean, we have to think right now that the next score wins the game. Don't you feel that if Michigan scores here, it's going to be too far for Drury to come back? Or am I missing the mark again?
Just a minute and a half. I think if Michigan can dot down here, that will seal a victory for the blue and gold.
But we have a turner over the scrum. We have a tight head of a scrum, which is amazing. It doesn't really happen in sevens. And again, we have a really nice breakout now, an opportunity to move to the edge. They do have open space if they can pass the ball and catch crisply, which so far they're able to do. Nice carry by Roberts again. Oh, they've got space. Here we go. It could be in under the post here. Oh my goodness, Charlie Williamson, what a breakout. Gets the ball down with a minute to go, ties the game up, conversion right under the post. So when I said next score wins, does that mean that if he makes this conversion, they're up by 2 with a minute to go? Are they going to win, or am I?
Looks like you might have been right in this one.
Well, wow.
Whoa.
There's a first today. Abby said I actually might have been right and know what I was talking about. I'm going to bottle that one. The kick is good. We now have a 19-7 Drury lead, which, let me take you back a few minutes, Abby. It was 17-0 to Michigan, and Drury didn't have a hope. Now all of a sudden, we're probably one possession 20 seconds left in the game. If Drury can be a... Oh my goodness. I'm really... So we had a few seconds left. The referee didn't agree with us, and so Drury takes it with basically the last play of the game. My prognostication, as it has been all day, was right on.
Huge moment for Drury. Congratulations. Sealed the victory as you called it.
Thank you. Great doing work with you. I'm going to go off and coach my team. See you in a bit.
We are right back underway. Virginia Tech and Babson. This is the next game of the bowl bracket, losers bracket. All the teams you'll see for the next 4 that Chris and I have for you have been our featured teams that fell in their first round matchups. Thanks for joining us. You just listened to excellent commentary from Jeremy and Abby. I'm Charlie Morris. Chris Daly's my partner sitting right next to me. We are field side here on Field 12 at the Maryland Soccerplex Sports Complex, which has been transformed to rugby today. And boy, are we in for a good one. Virginia Tech and Babson. Chris, quick scouting report, recent results.
Lots of national championships in recent memory for both programs. We got Babson, 2023 NCR Small College National Sevens Tournament champion. It's a tongue twister, but they won it in 2023. And then you got the 2021 and 2022 D1 AA national champions in 15s for Virginia Tech. So 2 programs, very storied, lots of history. I do think Virginia Tech has the edge. They have a lot of talent. They have an All-American 15s, Lucas Blishy, who is going to be a big factor today. And I got the Hokies, but I think it's going to be a close one.
Yeah, they're both coming off losses of different degrees. Virginia Tech, a close one, fell by just 2 points in their opening round matchup in the 4-5 game, and Babson unable to get on the board in a loss to Wheeling. And so we are underway. Babson was the 8 seed. Doesn't matter anymore. Just looking to get on the board early here, trying to take advantage of a couple early Virginia Tech mistakes. And so Leonard Dino will play it off. Rolling ahead, down inside the 22. It's picked up immediately off the scrum, and tackle is made just in time. Ball still free for a minute, and now Babson's in. The first score of the game to the Beavers.
That's a fantastic start from Babson, and it's Leonard Dino who ends up being the try scorer. Physicality on both ends. Babson comes away with it, and a clear lane opens up. Excuse me, it actually, yep, Leonard Dino gets it. He finds it.
Set up by a nice run by Babson's Satchel Sevenau.
And just off of the eye test, Charlie, Babson does look to be a bit of a bigger team physically. So you could see on that try right there, they're using that to their advantage. Lots of tall guys on this Babson team. Dino himself, 6'1", one of the smaller guys at 6'1".
Yeah, just going through some of the sizes. You got 6'6" Finn Gargan, 6'3" Jack Samas, 6'3" Cole Thompson, 6'4" Dash Skura, 6'6" Bryce Muller.
So pretty much you got a basketball team out here.
With rugby skill, that is
with
impressive.
rugby skill, yeah. Now,
Cash Skura had to pop it. Fordham Prep graduate,
oh, there we
class
go.
of 2022,
There we go.
alongside myself.
Nice offload from Virginia Tech.
Maybe some space. In fact, running down the right side on the far side is Cooper Anderson. The ball in his left hand and no one able to catch him. Anderson. As Virginia Tech right back in it. Get another look.
Cooper Anderson just does it himself. Avoids a tackle, nice and loose. Head straight forward. He sprints his way to the try zone. That's a quick response from the Hokies. Love to see that. Both how they play, but also mentally, just staying in the game, not getting too far ahead of yourself. One step at a time, and the Hokies draw level.
And conversions through, ties the game 7-7. Virginia Tech will kick off. So a good start for the Beavers. Their first points of the day after a shutout in their first game, and Virginia Tech responds immediately. Makes a kick. They scored 19 points in their first game, their 21-19 defeat. Only 1 of 3 on conversion kicks, so already off to a better start in that department. What is not a huge part of the game, Chris, but it can at times be the difference. And we saw it in Virginia Tech's loss. They fell in their first round matchup in the 4-5 game against Mary Washington as the favorite. So the Hokies trying to salvage the weekend for being eliminated in the first game in a surprise result.
This is dangerous for Babson. You just got to kick it away or find a break. You can't be selfish here. You just got to get this out of the 5-meter zone.
This is some incredible defense. Might have just forced a penalty and a turnover. Looks like a scrum upcoming for the Hokies. Maybe a tapping. Oh, no, certainly looks to be in scrum formation in a 7-7 game, half number 1. This is the first of 4 bowl semifinals on this side of the bracket. You just saw, if you were with us for the last 4 games, a couple games, Walsh winning, Purdue winning, Fairfield winning, and Drury winning. Virginia Tech and Babson both looking to become the 5th schools to advance to the next round in the bowl bracket and avoid falling to the plate. Nice pass out to the wing, but it's juggled and then kicked ahead. Babson trying to turn it quickly, but it's recovered nicely so by the Hokies and Lucas Bitchie. But then a penalty turns it over, and Babson's going to slow the pace with some of their players a little exhausted.
I love that from Babson, and even if they weren't able to get the ball back, they push Virginia Tech back. And then, of course, they inevitably do regain possession.
The head coach for the Babson Beavers to our left. A lot of discussion about the coaching boxes for both sides, trying to make sure this tournament runs smoothly and legally.
Yeah, outside of his zone that you're allowed to be in, so ref delivering some words to the Babson coach here on the sideline. They get a coaching staff of about 3 to 4. Also have a student manager.
Yeah, we have a great view of all the action. We're sitting right on the field at about the midfield stripe, just a little bit to the left. So we're going to get a good view of all the cards, substitutions, and benches throughout the game. The far side of the field is a little bit tougher, and here comes Babson along that far side trying to stay in touch, spinning off a hit. Nicely done. But maybe stepping into touch, and yes, the play is going to come back at the end of the half. And so a 7-7 score after 7 minutes. It's a close one in the plate bracket semifinal, quarterfinal, bowl bracket quarterfinals. Babson, Virginia Tech, knotted at 7. Babson, Virginia Tech, 7-7 after 7. And Chris, I wanted to talk at the break about these Hokies, how kind of a disappointing first result of the day for them, but still in the quest for 17th place.
Yeah, disappointing. You got Lucas Bishie, who's an All-American in 15s, and Logan Mooney, who is also an NCR All-Star in Atlanta at the end of that 15s fall season. So very disappointing, but they win against a very good Mary Washington team. It's just kind of the luck of the draw. A team that's 14 in the Rugby Hawk rankings, the Hokies, versus Mary Washington, who are 17. So given they were placed somewhere else in the bracket, Virginia Tech would not be here right now. I still believe they would be in the cut bracket.
Yeah, but as it turns out in this single elimination format, with 32 teams, the best they can do is a bowl bracket championship, which would be 17th place. Just shows how brutal this tournament setup is. No room for error, especially early.
Back-to-back interceptions, Charlie. I'm loving the start to this half.
It was very even. I was happy. I think both coaches would be pleased. Both defenses in the first half. There's almost another interception, but it's in and out of the hands of Cole Thompson, one of those tall players we mentioned, 6'3", 210-pound flanker in his freshman year. I was not that big when I was a freshman, fun fact.
You learn something new every day. But Cole Thompson, a key piece to this Babson Beavers team, and also one of the 2 international players on this team. The other one coming from Portugal, but Thompson himself hails from Canada, so not too far from Babson, located kind of by Boston.
Nice offload. The Hokies looking to break it through. Big tackle. Or tackle, not even a tackle, but a slowdown enough on the ball carrier, who was almost breaking free. Logan Mooney, one of the players you mentioned. Not rolling away the call. Here come the Hokies. Mateo Boffey, long backwards pass. Went into the middle for Rosenberger. To the far side, Harding. Zachary Harding trying to split through. Pretty good defense right now from Babson, continuing to play strong on the defensive side.
Yeah, no gaps opening up for them. Very compact defensively, and some strong tackles too. Talked about their physicality earlier. That served them well in the first half.
Maybe numbers along the left side. Nice cutback. Cooper Anderson, another cut. Offloads it. Brendan Ang brought down on a hands tackle. Weird looking hit. And there is an offensive penalty and a huge break for the Beavers as Virginia Tech drives down the field, but they could turn it over with 4 minutes to play in the game.
Now the Beavers got to get out of this area, though. They've had some trouble when pinned against their own try line, which is kind of ironic because in 2023, when they won the small school national championship in sevens, they won on a game-winning, buzzer-beating drive, which started at their own very try line.
See if they can pull it off here in not quite as substantial a game, but of course with the season ending, all of them meaning something down the stretch, even though, and both these teams no longer in contention to win the overall title. A field of 32 teams in the Premier Division, every placement point matters. Turned over off the line out. Nice tackle as nearly as Rosenberger. So Babson made some subs. See if they can make some plays along the far side. Anthony Viselli over there. Spun down. 3 minutes to play in the half. A little bit of an army crawl down near the try line. Here's another pass. Good closeout. Trying to find a lane is Harding. Unable to get far. Now he stumbles ahead towards the 5. Nice catch on a low pass. Far offload towards the wing. Rolling off a hit and scoring. I believe. No try. Virginia Tech thought they were in their bench got excited, but then the Babson bench got excited too. It's not a try. The score remains tied at 7 apiece. What chaos on the far side of the field.
Possible knock on it. That's got to sting.
Good catch. Could not tell why it was
Poor.
not called, but the Virginia Tech bench was celebrating, and then the Babson bench was celebrating too, so tough to know what was going on, but either way, no try.
Virginia Tech did so well, Charlie. They switched the point of attack multiple times on that possession. Really patient all around. I love the offloads. They found the open man, but to no avail right at the end. Oh, it's a gut punch.
See what the Hokies can do after a couple mistakes by Babson. Spinning down towards the line, no signal. There's the try. And I believe it's Gavin Lockwood. And the Hokies lead 12-7.
It is Gavin Lockwood. He picks it up for Virginia Tech. And he's matching the physicality, perhaps outmatching the physicality of Babson, one of the biggest guys on this Virginia Tech team. Just dynamos his way into the try zone. And that's his second try of the tournament. He scored as well in their loss to Mary Washington.
Kicking struggles continue though, as another conversion fades right. So it's just a 5-point lead with 40 seconds to go, and Babson's gonna have to try to score again. 12-7, 30 seconds to play. Let's see if the Beavers have a magical score in them. They only have one try today in almost 4 complete halves.
Charlie, we haven't really seen them in their own attacking half of the pitch in this first half.
Certainly haven't. They've all's been down to our right almost its entirety. I was thinking about a kick play, but you can't really do that with time expired. Turnover ends the game.
Yeah, you can't risk that unless you want your coach to lose his mind.
That one's kicked into touch, but that might do it. No, it's going to be a line out. Nice kick by Skura. Both benches starting to get loud, and another good one coming off a very good one that we got the tail end of, with Jeremy and Abby bringing to a late game try for Drury to win. Virginia Tech takes it. Dangerous offload. Can they tackle him into touch? They do. But that ends it.
Well, Babson's calling for a penalty. They're not going to get it.
Time has expired. The referee confirms that this game is over, much to the dismay of the Babson players and fans, but it doesn't matter what they think. It's over, and Virginia Tech survives for the 5-point win, and they advance to the next round in the bowl bracket. We'll step aside when we come back. We got Harvard and Texas A&M, two similarly colored schools going at it for right to face Virginia Tech in the next round. just about ready to get to our 6th bowl bracket quarterfinal matchup. 16 teams going at it to try to prove that they were the technically second best team here, if you think about it. Chris, doesn't it work like that?
Yeah, I don't know if it does, but very happy to be calling the action here for Harvard and Texas A&M. I liked what I saw out of both teams. Harvard saw them back in South Bend while we were calling Fighting Irish Sevens. They're a really impressive squad, a really smart squad too. I'd say they're pretty intelligent, these guys. And then Texas A&M, in the first set of games we called, they really gave Brown a run for their money. It was going to be a one-score game heading into the half until Brown just totally upended Texas A&M's plans. They went coast to coast and they scored a try, made it a 2-possession game prior to the half. And then the floodgates kind of opened, but those first 7 minutes were really strong for the Aggies. This is going to be a fun, even game, kind of similar to the last one we just saw.
Yeah, certainly games are expected to get a lot closer than they were this morning when it was mostly 1 seeds versus 8 seeds. Now you've got teams of similar results, somewhat similar rankings. Harvard coming in at number 55 on Rugby Hawk. And Texas A&M very new to the college rugby scene. Again, they really hung tough with that Brown team. Harvard lost to Notre Dame in their first game, 28-12. That was a 3-6, so it's the 6 seed versus the 7 seed in the West Division, which is also what that last game was between Virginia Tech and Babson.
And Charlie, we talked about Rugby Hawk. If you don't know us, of course, you're listening on the Rugby Network as well. I'm sure you do if you're a big college rugby fan, but they keep these updated rankings up to date as well. So it has since updated since the start of the day. They import the games. We got a matchup between Texas A&M, who are now 58, Harvard 59.
Whoa.
So that's about as even as it gets. They might as well be tied on these Rugby Hawk compiled points that they have. But yeah, it's going to be a cracking game here today.
That's crazy to me that they updated that quick. I mean, Harvard and Texas A&M played mere hours ago.
It's rugby. We met the guys who own it. They're kind of intertwined with the Michigan program. I think one of their siblings is involved. I can't recall the exact story, but we met them Notre Dame versus Michigan in the 15 season. Really great guys, and yeah, they built something very cool. But so is the Rugby Network, which you're listening to this on.
Harvard in the black and red, Texas A&M in the whites, and it's the Crimson who started out early. This is one of the newest teams in Texas A&M to the NCRS, and then you've got one of the oldest program in the United States, founded in 1872, the Harvard Crimson. What a matchup we're in. As Chris mentioned, 58 versus 59 on the updated Rugby Hawk rankings. And here we go. Harvard moving right to left, and they're doing it now with Garrett Lewis. Lewis feeds it off behind him.
And just to keep talking about the history before we get into some of this game action, what I love about Harvard is they are so deeply entrenched with the sport of rugby that the Harvard Business School has their own specific rugby club. That's how much they love the sport. And Texas A&M coming down on the near side, Charlie, looking strong.
Yeah, but it's going to be a knock-on, and it goes into touch, so 2 reasons why it's Harvard's ball. You only needed 1. That's going to blow it back and position it where the knock-on, was committed, as opposed to just a quick play from the sideline. So Cone Himana for Harvard will slow it down and feed it through the scrum. I'm in conversation with the referee. His teammates over to help him in the scrum.
Head coach of Harvard is none other than Sevens legend Colton Carriga, who, while at Life University from 2017 to 2023, had a lot of success. Well, actually 2014 when he was an assistant, won a couple of Sevens national championships. So he knows what it takes to win in Sevens. He is also the U23 coach for the United States Rugby Eagles in Sevens.
Now some space down the side for the Aggies. Tripped up from behind, but it's in for the score. And Texas A&M strikes first.
Great job from Texas A&M. just talking about how well experienced this Harvard team is, but Texas A&M plays with a bit of fire to them. 2, 3 quick offloads. And then when that space opens up, they're able to spread apart that Harvard defense. Texas A&M fully exploits it. And they get on the board to start this game early.
A nice little passing play for the Aggies. And just to finish that thought, on Life University, and Harvard's current head coach, Life, currently number 4 in the rankings in 7s. So they are still a premier program. Aggies have it right back off the kick. They'll get a chance to go with pace, and they do, after a knock-on by Harvard trying to break it up. It's been all Texas A&M early. Another penalty against the Crimson as the wind gusts. Probably hear it through the mic.
It's blowing my hair back.
Cody McLaren needs to go down. Hands it off. You don't see that often. Raul Garcia. Maybe almost another handoff. Here's Andres Lasala. A couple passes to the far side. Nice passing by the Aggies, trying to burst through. And another beautiful play. Diving for another try. And it's 10-0 Texas A&M.
Texas A&M did a great job to switch from the near side of the pitch all the way out to the other side, and then storming his way into the try zone was Alex Covarrubias. I think.
Sounds right to me.
There we go. I'll take it, but clever play from him. Some nice deceptive runs, some overlaps, some underlaps, and Texas A&M makes it a 2-possession game.
Covarrubias, the flanker out of Sugar Land, Texas. Most players on this roster out of Texas, unsurprisingly, for the Aggies. And they're up to a 10-0 lead as they continue to impress me today. Certainly looks like the best 7 seed here. I had to anticipate. Now the Harvard ball carrier steps into touch.
Let's go, boys. Let's go, boys.
Aggies go back to work after another strong defensive play.
It's interesting, Charlie, because Texas A&M is a team who I mentioned in their first game hasn't played a whole lot of top-end competition. So you would think maybe they'd be a little rusty. It would take a little while to get started, but they have come and they have just fired away. Been equally as impressed as you with this Aggies team.
Yeah, they really did play Brown close. The final score of that game does not indicate, in my opinion, how close it was. It was Texas A&M trailing by 7 and with the ball deep in Brown territory at the end of the first half, and they give up basically a pick 6, pick 5, if you will.
Yeah, pick 5.
We had a name for that. Didn't we name that?
I believe it's actually called a pick 5. I was watching the some 7s World Cup action, and it is indeed the pick 5.
Yes, Dan. Yes, Dan.
That was almost a forward pass, but instead it's a run down the right touchline. And Harvard's gonna get on the board with a minute to play in the half. Nice play to the wing, and the Crimson get their first points.
Really nice play from Harvard, and it's exactly what they needed. It's been mostly Texas A&M to start this game, just to have a little bit of a confidence boost heading into halftime. Nice 2-on-2, and then when it becomes 1-on-1 out there on the flank, you got to take your winger every single day of the week. Christian Callahan with a nice play out there far side of the pitch. Graduate student from Limerick, Ireland, making his presence known.
All of a sudden, just a 3-point game as Harvard finally gets a response. They're starting slow. They'll kick it back. Just a couple more plays in this first half. Time at 0. So the next end ball will send us to break. And the Aggies hoping that's through a successful conversion kick after a successful try, but they're going to have to stay in touch and they are not able to. On the far side, you get a look at the line judge with his yellow flag in the air. Main referee not signaling for halftime just yet.